The family conflict. Yuxiu hated herself and couldn't understand how she could be like that. She let herself die on a good path. She couldn't even learn the abacus. Yuxiu was very sad. Auntie Tang was so good to me, but I made such a commotion. In the future, how can I behave in front of Auntie Tang? She no longer had the face to see her. The more she thought about it, the more afraid she was to see Auntie Tang. Out of Yuxiu's expectations, the next day when buying food, they actually met. It seemed that Auntie Tang was deliberately waiting for her. Otherwise, how could it be so coincidental? Yuxiu wanted to hide but did not, but was stopped by Tang. Yuxiu was afraid to mention yesterday's incident and wanted to digress, but Tang spoke first. The smile on her face was also ready, and said, "Yuxiu, what to eat for lunch?" Before Yuxiu had a chance to reply, Tang put over Yuxiu's basket, which was still empty. Tang cared. The day is hot. Leeks are old. Do not let Director Guo eat leeks again, as Director Guo's teeth are not good. Yuxiu remembered her brother-in-law picking out something from his mouth every day while brushing his teeth. That looks like dentures. Yuxiu nodded and smiled. Auntie Tang's face was as natural as if yesterday's incident had never happened at all. It looked like Auntie Tang would never mention yesterday's incident again, never again, which somewhat relieved Yuxiu. However, Yuxiu soon realized that Tang's voice was a little brighter than usual, and the range of her smile was bigger than ever. Even her crow's feet, which were usually not too conspicuous, were coming out. Yuxiu knew Tang smiled at herself like this, obviously on purpose, clearly seeing her as an outsider. The relationship with her ended, finished. Yuxiu also had to try to smile, but the smile was extraordinarily strained and even sad. Yuxiu hurriedly said goodbye to Tang, standing in front of the leek stall, but was silly. Yuxiu was surprised to hear the sound of the steam engine of the state-run rice factory from the chaos of the vegetable farm. This moment, it sounded so far away, so unreal. The unspeakable sorrow and remorse came up. Yuxiu held back tears and did not understand what wrong medicine she had exactly eaten yesterday. What is wrong with her nerve? What is the missing piece of knowledge? What kind of crazy disease? She let herself die on a good road. She can't even learn the abacus. Yuxiu, in a trance, left the leeks and walked by herself to the southernmost end of the small street. The south of Broken Bridge Town is a white lake, smoky, with an endless chaotic pattern. Yuxiu thought, this is good, this is clean, it's never been yours, whatever. Even if I were Galway's lover, in case he knew that thing, I would still be in trouble. Yuxiu said to herself, don't bother, that's it. There was just one thing Yuxiu could not understand no matter how. She had thought through everything, but why in turn she felt so uncomfortable? What else in the world can change back to Yuxiu's virginity if it can be changed back? Yuxiu is willing to break an arm or gouge out an eye. Yumi is pregnant and has originally planned to tell Guo Jiaxing in a few days, but the family is not peaceful. Guo Qiaoqiao had a fight with Guo Jiaxing. They fight a lot, but got no results. According to Guo Jiaxing's intention, Guo Qiaoqiao is better to go to the countryside after graduating from high school sophomore. If leading the way to send his daughter to the countryside, not only does the father's face look good, but he also has powerful words in the authority. To the countryside to exercise for a year or two, you'll have a good foundation, and your curriculum vitae will be tough, so it's convenient to go anywhere. Young people still need to have lofty ideals. Guo Jiaxing repeatedly said this reasoning, which could be said earnestly and intently. Guo Jiaxing takes Guo Zuo as an example. Guo Zuo was first down to the country as an educated youth, using the opportunity to be a farmer to join the party. And then they recruited him. He went to the state-run factory in a big city. Guo Qiaoqiao did not listen. Guo Qiaoqiao watched a movie about textile workers in the other day and was fascinated by the flamboyant spinning women in the movie. Like in The Evil, she intended to be a spinning woman at Anfeng Commune Spinning Factory. A small collective social factory and spinning, you easily get arthritis. What's the point? There's also a point that Guo Jiaxing cannot say because Anfeng Commune is not Broken Bridge anyway, not under the leadership of Guo Jiaxing. The future is ultimately full of inconvenience. Yumi instead guessed the meaning of this layer, but Yumi did not interrupt. About Guo Qiaoqiao's matter, Yumi is better off doing less. Guo Jiaxing sat in the rattan chair in the hall and did not speak. Guo Qiaoqiao stood in the doorway of the east room and did not speak either, silent like so for a long time. Guo Jiaxing took a flying horse cigarette and said, "Go to the country first, huh? Thought through?" Guo Qiaoqiao leaned against the doorframe and said with a naive head, "No, if I went to the countryside, in case you don't have the power in your hands, who will take care of me? I will have to stay in the countryside for the rest of my life." Yumi heard these words, and her heart thumped. Yumi thought, Guo Qiaoqiao, this girl still seemed to have a few points of long-term vision, not as stupid as she seems. Guo Jiaxing did not expect his daughter to say such a thing. What kind of words are these? Guo Jiaxing stepped the table with a boom because he was in big anger. Yumi froze for a moment and then thought that Guo Qiaoqiao was still a silly girl. The person who is an official is most afraid of people saying he is in case and has no power. How can she say that? Yumi heard Guo Jiaxing push the rattan chair away, pointing with his finger at the table. "Duck, duck, duck!" Guo Jiaxing held for a long time, saying loudly, "The red flag will not fall!" The topic once pulled to the red flag. Of course, the situation was very serious, and Yumi was even a little afraid. Guo Jiaxing has never spoken so loudly and seems to be angry. Not ordinary. The hall is again a long silence. Guo Qiaoqiao suddenly closed the two doors of the east room, thought and thought again. Then Guo Qiaoqiao's loud voice came out from the east room. "I can see. Mom died, you married a young wife and became a feudalist, capitalist, and revisionist. To please the young wife, you want to send me to the countryside." Yumi heard clearly and said in her heart, "This girl was so unreasonable that dragged me into it for no reason." Guo Jiaxing's face turned blue, rested in his arms on his waist, and went to the patio alone, suddenly seeing Yuxiu quietly serving herself in the kitchen. Guo Jiaxing took a look at Yuxiu, stretched out his finger, and gave Yuxiu an order through the window pane. "No more logistics for her. Mrs. style, exploiting class style." Yuxiu's neck shortened in fear. The driver of the speedboat pushed open the patio door at this exact moment, seeing Director Guo angry, so stood to the side waiting. Guo Qiaoqiao, however, rushed out of the east room and said to the driver, "Go, send me to Grandma's house." The driver was still waiting there. Guo Jiaxing seemed to remember something and said loudly to Guo Qiaoqiao, "There's still the graduation exam." The tone, however, had softened. Guo Qiaoqiao didn't care, pulled up the driver, and left. The driver kept turning back. Guo Jiaxing feebly waved his hand at him, and the driver was relieved to go. Guo Qiaoqiao left. The driver left, and the country yard was suddenly quiet. It was very sudden. Guo Jiaxing stood on the patio, smoking heavily. Yumi quietly followed out and stood beside Guo Jiaxing. Guo Jiaxing sighed again. His mood was heavy. Guo Jiaxing said to Yumi, I have always emphasized that the ideological problems cannot be relaxed. You see, out of control. Yumi accompanied Guo Jiaxing's side and persuaded, still a child. Guo Jiaxing was still angry and said loudly, Child, at my age, I've already participated in the new democratic revolution. Yuxiu, through the window, knew that Yumi at this moment must be heart-bursting with joy. But Yumi just pretended like. Yumi is convergence. Yuxiu thought, this woman, like water, is good at grasping, where the low where she will flow, seamlessly, leaving no gap. Yuxiu still admired her, but could not learn it. Yumi tilted her head, looking at Guo Jiaxing, had been looking at Guo Jiaxing. Her eye sockets were full of tears, flashy. Yumi pulled Guo Jiaxing's hand, covered her belly, and said, I hope we do not make you angry.